Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny goes down as one of the biggest box office flops of all time, and there is little redemption. The movie has not done exceedingly well on streaming in terms of PVOD. It still has yet to come out on Disney Plus for the general audience. Who can forget how Kathleen Kennedy was herself embarrassed by Disney as she went into the premiere of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny at the festival in Cannes? She was embarrassed by the closing of the Galactic Star Cruiser and she could not respond. On her way out, she was informed that Willow had been removed from Disney Plus permanently, used as a tax write-down where it was better than as a piece of viewership. And yet Disney is not done. There is one final piece of humiliation now for Indiana Jones, the franchise, as it ends on the most sour of notes. We'll explain it all and what went wrong right now. Hello folks, we're so happy you're here. Happy day to each and every one of you out there. We are here to explain entertainment. We endeavor to keep you ahead of the culture curve, and today we are doing so by examining the final nail in the Indiana Jones coffin. We start today with thedigitalbits.com. It's called My Two Cents. It's by Bill Hunt, and it says, breaking, Lucasfilm and Disney set Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny for Blu-ray, DVD, and 4K UHD on the 5th of December. Now, this came out the 10th of October. Why are we just now getting here? Well, it's because there's been a plethora, or for those of you who pronounce it differently, a plethora of different news items all going on around entertainment in Hollywood, and we just haven't been able to get to this until now. But there's another piece to this that we'll talk about in just a moment. As we dive into this, folks, if you like content like this, consider clicking the like button. Here's what this says. All right, folks, here's an announcement we know some of you have been waiting for. On December 5th, the final adventure comes home. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny arrives on 4K, Blu-ray, and DVD with over 2 hours of extra content, i.e. some reason to buy this rather than to just watch it on Disney+. Lucasfilm's Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny comes to physical media December 5th. Now, here's a piece of information that you might be interested in knowing. We are watching as across the wide array of retail spaces, they begin to drop any support whatsoever for physical media. And so you might say that this is not such a big deal, but I'm here to say otherwise. And in particular, I'm here to tell you that the release date of December 5th really matters. And it indicates that Disney, and perhaps also those big box retailers, have no confidence in this franchise, and perhaps that's well earned, let's say, after its performance at the movie theaters. Here's what it says, though. From Academy Award-nominated writer-director James Mangold, comes the final chapter in the saga of one of cinema's greatest heroes, Indiana Jones, and the Dial of Destiny sees Harrison Ford reprise his iconic role as the whip-smart archaeologist one last time for a, I don't know if I'd call it rip-roaring, but it's at least middling adventure, it's full of reminiscent shadows of action. It does have banter, and there are some twists and turns, although not the kind that audiences want to see. And there aren't many twists and turns because at Harrison Ford's age and with the way this movie was portrayed, a twist and turn might just break the man. All right, so, and that's not an elderly joke, by the way, folks. That's a joke at the way this movie was made. Now, why does the December 5th deadline or date matter? Here's why it matters. Because what this says is that Disney, for whatever reason, is not releasing this for Black Friday. Black Friday is by far and away, and the weekend after Black Friday, and the week thereafter for Cyber Monday, and etc. Those are the biggest sales dates across the spectrum of dates on the calendar. If you have any anticipation that something's going to do well, you want to have it out for that date, prior to or on the day of. You want your movies out. You want your video games out there. Disney is not putting Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny out for Black Friday, and I suspect the reason is because inflation is up, because the ability for consumers to spend that discretionary money, well, that is greatly diminished, and retailers are going to be scrambling for every single bit of success they can. Indiana Jones, the Dial of Destiny has already proven it's not successful. It won't be successful. So why do you want to litter your Black Friday weekly sales, your Black Friday adverts, with something that will not garner you any success. This is the same thing we've seen when we've talked to you before about insiders who say that Disney is largely absent from much of the Black Friday and holiday sales in terms of toys. This is the same thing with Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Stores simply can't afford to put a failure in their real estate space. Instead, they will not be having Indiana Jones toys. Rather, they will be having toys based on Bluey, or toys based on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or even better, Mario and Sonic. Gone will be Marvel, Star Wars, Indy, and the rest. Disney likely knows that, and there's no sense in being even more embarrassed. They'll trot it out on December 5th and get what they can. Let's take a look at now from Plough.com. And this is by Hannah Long. I find it interesting. It delves a bit into the religious more than we usually go, but I do find it fascinating in regards to Indiana Jones and what went wrong with the last two. The first three, the original trilogy of this franchise, is fantastic. People love it. The final two movies are loathed. They are hated. They are despised. But why? It says, Indiana Jones and the Weight of Glory. The film hero experiences the fear of the Lord many times across his cinematic career, yet each beginning of wisdom is a false start. Now, folks, don't jump for the windows if you're a person of little belief or not a theistic belief system about this. We're not going into proselytizing here, but I do think that there's a point made in this website, and I think our great source who sent this my way, I think there's a point to be made that we need to pay attention to, whether or not you have any belief in Judeo-Christian values or the stories therein. It says, perhaps no cinematic frame better encapsulates the insight that the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom, certainly not in the tomb raiding adventure genre, than one near the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Harrison Ford, wiry, handsome, unarmed, and Karen Allen, girlish, lovely, clad in a white silk dress, hold hands in the gloom. They appear like a couple on their wedding day, frightened, humbled, oddly innocent. But they're not looking at each other. They're staring away across a shadowy clearing to the glowing footstool of the Lord, that being the Ark of the Covenant. The deity who has just massacred the enemy of his chosen people and left Ford and Allen unscathed. And that's an excellent point that many people miss, especially given the world that we're in right now. The Ark of the Covenant in that Raiders of the Lost Ark is used to destroy very bad people from a very particular point in time. Consider that for a moment. It's a moment of revelation, but it proves short-lived for the characters. Indiana Jones experiences the fear of God many times across his cinematic career, yet each beginning of wisdom is a false start. He has seen but not understood. He is a perpetual cynic, always grabbing vines that give away. It goes on to talk about the start and stop. Take a look at this out of Rabbi Abraham Heschel. Life without wonder is not worth living. Awareness of the divine begins with wonder. It is the result of what man does with his higher incomprehension. I'm reminded, by the way, of a book that Jonas J. Campbell sent me recently by Bill Watterson. It's all about the mysteries, and it's one of his only works that I know of after he completed Calvin and Hobbes. I love the book. The greatest hindrance to such awareness is our adjustment to conventional notions, to mental cliches, wonder, or radical amazement. The state of maladjustment to words and notions is therefore a prerequisite for an authentic awareness of that which is. Here is where I think the magic is for Indy. Pay attention closely to this. Spielberg and Lucas are at their most profound when they are at their least sophisticated, searching for the wondrous. Paul Freeman, who plays villain René Belloc, arrived for his audition. He walked into the room to find two bearded men in baseball caps lying on the floor, listening in awe to the first prototype Walkman from Tokyo. Lucas beckoned Freeman over and put the earmuffs on his head. It was Stairway to Heaven, he said. We all lay on the floor like children, just listening, looking at each other and giggling. Stephen asked, would you like to read the script? That was the audition. You see, folks, I don't want to give away this full article because I want you to go read it. It's really good enough that you should. You should spend your time, and time is precious, reading this, I believe. Link is in the video description. But what was so amazing about Indiana Jones in the first three films was that sense of awe, that dance between the mysterious and the known. And partly what was so impressive was that Indiana Jones, while skeptical, was not an unbeliever in things that went beyond his own understanding. Yet when we made it to the fourth film and the fifth film, Indiana Jones was cynical in ways that seemed unearned and illogical. Despite what he had seen in his prior past, he came in as if someone who had never seen anything other than the material. And therefore he had little to live for because he had such a materialistic view that there was nothing transcendent to guide him. Especially in the last film, a man such as Indy, who has seen what he has seen, well, it would be difficult for him to know that life is meaningless, or should I say, for him to misknow, because it's an anti-truth. And Indiana Jones lives out the fifth film in that anti-truth. He lives out the idea that life is meaningless and he can sit in depression. Whereas, after what he has seen in the prior films, even if he lost his son, and even if he lost his son in a very unkindly way, he should know that there's hope. And Indy has no hope throughout so much of the film. He is just a passenger along a vehicle that is meant to take the audience along a plot with a heroine who is far better and far greater. We've seen that before, of course, with the Star Wars films, where Luke Skywalker, in spite of everything he's seen, somehow remains a depressed, terrible hermit of a man who attempted to off his nephew. It seems impossible given what Luke has seen and the power of good that he has realized, the power of good to change everything. And perhaps we cherish these films because they taught us that life is more, and because being good in the world does something that is transcendent and is powerful. And that's where these films lost their way in the end, because they were made by cynical people who did not understand the meanings behind the originals. Perhaps even the originals were made by cynical people who did not understand what they were saying. And yet they did. And there they are. And they are timeless. And that which was made at the end remains stuck in a time that we would like to forget. A time of postmodernism and questioning everything. A time of ultimate cynicism and sarcasm. A time of power as a narrative vehicle for obtaining what you wish and for ignoring the truth, capital T. Folks, that's it for me for today, but I did want to bring you what the sad result of such a path is. An Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which is not even good enough to sit on the shelves for Black Friday and must be pushed behind to make way for something else to sit there instead, because it has no fans to pick it up. At least not enough to be there as we all finish off our turkeys and hit the holiday shopping season. It is indeed the final humiliation for Indy. And that is a sad conclusion that we predicted all along and hoped they would not do. Folks, if you like content like this, even if you don't like the way Indy turned out, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, and when you click it, you stick it to the algorithms, it's the notification bell. Drop a comment down below, let us know your thoughts. How did I do? Was it good, bad? It's not often I do a monologue. Often we have conversations with others. So let me know, which one do you prefer? I'm sure we'll continue to talk with guests no matter what. But if you'd like for us to do more of these, let us know. And if you'd like less of these, also let us know. We're open to it all. Don't forget that the Pro Show is Thursday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It's spooktacular, and I'll be turning the camera on for the very first time. Folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep
Make sure to
having
catch
fun.
the Pro Show Thursdays 5 to 7 Eastern Time. Entertainment Explained, The Culture Curve Conquered, live with Pro and all his friends.
This Halloween's definitely gonna be something.
Even after dead franchises like Marvel are like zombies, rotting corpses of their former glory. Dead, but still animated.
I wonder, are there any franchises with some afterlife qualities?
One Piece is almost vampiric, as it's sucking the life out of the competition. Yeah.
DC is kind of like Frankenstein's monster, with bits and pieces from everywhere and nothing is consistent.
I'm the ghost of Star Wars.
You know what would be a real treat this Halloween? Checking out WDW Pro. He's got all the sweet news on his Thursday live show at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Not to mention, his daily videos are a real treat.
Guys, I'm the ghost of Star Wars. Get it?
You know, we should go and make sure we're subscribed.
Guys, I'm the ghost of Star Wars.
And while we're at it, we'll ring that bell to make sure we're notified.
Great, let's go. Because, well, we actually care about that. Let's go.
Fact. Star Wars is not dead. It's haunting the staffs of Disney Plus.